What's going on, Washington Football Nation? Today, I got something special for you. We got a podcast collaboration with my group chat boys. How y'all feeling right now, man?
What's up, man? How you?
Good, man. Fantastic.
Energy.
In case y'all don't recognize those voices, that is Pascal Todd of the Tae Todd Podcast, my guy Jalen Morgan from the BnG Podcast, and my boy Alex, aka Hugo_Polo on the Twitter sphere. What's good, y'all?
What's cracking, man?
What's good with you?
I'm ready for camp, man. We downloaded passes today, man. I'm VIP out here. We gonna be in VIP. How y'all ready?
I'm ready for Richmond, man. I'm ready.
I was ready. When did they lose? What was the playoff game? Was what, Jack? January 7th?
Yeah, like January 6th.
Like it was over around what, like 11 p.m.
Yeah,
so I was ready like January 7th at 11 p.m.
I like that.
Seriously,
ready,
man.
been ready.
So should we tell them what we got planned for Richmond? Is it too much to tell them on the podcast?
Slide them in there a little bit.
Nah, you know what? We can get to it. We all gonna be down there. We're looking to get some content. We're gonna be in the Airbnb. We're gonna be in VIP. One of us or some combination of all of us is gonna be down at Washington football team training camp. At some point during the week, man. And we're finally gonna be around fans again. How is that gonna feel for you?
Crazy. I don't even know what it's gonna feel like. Like 2019 was the last like regular NFL season. That's when I thought about it earlier today. So I mean, being around fans, it's gonna be exciting.
I feel like I forgot what it feels like, but I know that when you're like at training camp or at a game, you don't know like 99% of these people, but y'all feel like family. A good play happens, y'all hugging, y'all high fiving, don't know them, don't know nothing about them. So it'll be cool to feel that again.
Yeah, energy just bouncing off everybody, man. Just to be back around. Oh my goodness, I'm hyped. Just for a little smidge of training camp action. Any little bit of football right now is just right. You know what I'm saying?
Hell yeah. And like putting names to faces from all these people we interact with on Twitter, that shit's gonna be interesting, man. Cause we have so many conversations. Like we have a whole like friendship pool of people that we've never met in our lives. And we're gonna see them for the first time. And there's gonna be some interesting interactions, man.
One of the best pieces of news I got today was we having a podcast party. They're having a podcast out there.
I heard about that.
New spaces that you're talking about, man. I'm really excited for that.
Get that awkward. Hey, what's up?
What's up, man?
Yeah.
Twitter. Oh.
Okay. All right. Cool. Nice to meet you. All right.
Hey, what's up, JP? You were on my podcast, man.
Like, dude, I'm on a bunch of podcasts. Yeah, man. I'm excited though.
Yeah, but training camps in 4 weeks. I'm going to start with Todd. Give me one word to describe how you're feeling post-off season and going into training camp. One word. Let's hear it.
Hopeful. I hope I didn't steal. Maybe I stole somebody else's word. But like they actually had a good off season, which they needed to do. And so like looking past this year, I'm hopeful. And not just because of the team stuff on the field, off the field too. So I'm hopeful more than I've been in like at least 3 years.
I feel that. Jalen, how about yourself, man?
To sum it up in one word, I would probably say anxious. Because there's a lot of hype around this team.
It is a lot of hype.
Strictly on like on the field aspect of the whole process. And like I said, I'm anxious. One of the topics that's been covered around the media and the local media is like, when have we been this hyped about a Washington football team in recent years? And I know a lot of people talk about 2012, but I don't even remember like this much hype. It was hype surrounding RG3 and Robert.
Yeah, but it was more like mystery and enigma then.
Yeah, and just coming off like Robert is a face of like college football coming off that year. So I don't even think it was that much hype going into this year. So I remember being a Washington football fan for about 20 years. I don't remember this much hype going into a season.
Thanks.
Yeah.
How about you, Alex?
Man, right now, I'm really going to say confident, man. I feel like we, for so long, have been just waiting for a winner. Not to say that they're there yet, but I have this like cool confidence in this team. The energy that's in the building. You hear the players talk about it. You hear about the family, the culture, what they're building. Like, you feel that. We feel that at home. We're here just talking to each other. And, we always say it's different. Every year we say it's different. But truly, you can see it. It's almost like it's tangible that we can touch it. We'll be out there to see it come, in a few weekends. But, dude, I'm ready to see them put it together. I think them getting that taste of the playoffs really stretches as far as how they're approaching practice, how they're holding each other accountable one another. It just carries all across the board. I'm really geeked to see what these guys are gonna do, man. Like, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't pumped.
Oh, yeah,
what about you, Rio?
Oh, my word is afraid, because and I'm not trying to I'm not trying to harsh the mellow of the vibe we got going here. I'm afraid because too many things are going well. Yeah. Like, I need to accept that karma's on our side now, but I haven't accepted it yet until I see it. But everything's going too well. The offseason went beautifully. We upgraded at the positions we needed to upgrade at. We didn't get a long-term answer at quarterback, but we got a really good stopgap quarterback. We got a linebacker and a couple safeties that could put a cherry on top of the defense. No injuries so far, knock on wood. The national media loves us. We are media darlings all of a sudden, on and off the field. This rebrand process is going well. This fan ambassador thing, the inclusion of fans, it all feels so good that it scares the hell out of me. Because with Washington football, the Redskins, I'm always used to a circus. And this is so far from a circus environment that it's scary, but I love to see it, and I'm excited to be afraid.
I like it.
I'm with you, man. I'm with you all the way. I'm terrified. The only thing that makes me feel a little bit better is I was thinking today, I think I was looking at a picture, I don't know what it was, but it said Innova Sports Performance Park. And I was like, all the drama, all that is from Redskins Park. But Redskins Park doesn't exist anymore. That doesn't exist anymore. There is no more. The street's not even the same thing. It's a Nova Sports Performance Park.
And can you blame us, though?
No, you can't.
Like, we have a reason to be scoring this.
Yes, for sure.
We have a reason. So I understand why you're afraid.
It's like you're in a relationship.
I get it, bro. Trust me.
It's an abusive relationship. And then this time they're like, no, I promise I'm going to stop. You're like, I don't know if I believe you.
Gonna keep pulling me back.
Exactly. Exactly. But we're going to be in for a ride.
Yep, a wild ride. And speaking of a wild ride, Ryan Fitzpatrick's career, it has been a roller coaster of emotions, but he always keeps it interesting. There's been no filler or boring parts to his whole career. Are we buying in to the quarterback competition that Ron speaks of, or is Fitzy going to be handed the job? And if so, how long do you think his leash is? Let's start with you, Jalen.
So I found an interesting comp over like the last couple of weeks with the Ryan Fitzpatrick coming to Washington situation. And I look back at like a guy like Rich Gannon, who didn't really excel until his late 30s. I think he won like an MVP with the Oakland Raiders at like 39. And he was like a journeyman, didn't necessarily have the strongest arm, but something finally clicked late in his career. And I just think that that's what's happening with Ryan Fitzpatrick. I don't even want to say that's what's going on, because we've seen it. We've seen it over the course of the last couple of years. We all know why he was benched last year. That was from upper management, not for any reason for his play. And I think that this is the best team that he's fielded in those 16, 17 years over the course of those 6 and 7 teams. And yes, I have went back and looked at all the rosters. I do think this is the best team that he's fielded in his career. So those are reasons why I'm buying over Ryan Fitzpatrick hype for sure.
How about you, Pascal? You're on mute. You good? You on mute?
Welcome, man.
Whoops. So I feel like there is a group that is overestimating what Ryan Fitzpatrick will be, not what he could be.
I agree.
because we know he can play well. It's not about whether or not he'll play well. It's about how much he'll play well. Will he play more well or will he play more bad? And there's a group that I think is just completely omitting the bad side that will exist. But at the same time, I'm watching back last year and the quarterback play was so terrible, like at the beginning of the season, especially, that Fitzpatrick doesn't even have to be that good for this team to really be in some games. So, I mean, for one, I do think that Rivera is having a competition. Now, I think that it's a 98% chance that Fitzpatrick wins. I think he is leaving the door open, like I said, 2%, whereas last year I think he really wasn't leaving it open, and I think he's trying not to make that same mistake again. So I think it is a competition, but like Ryan Fitzpatrick would have to be terrible and Heineke would have to be phenomenal for him to actually win the job. So I do think there's a competition, but I do think some people are overhyping Ryan Fitzpatrick. Now, I also think he could have a really good year, but I think some people will be crushed if he goes out and throws 4 interceptions week 2 against the Giants. And me, I'm gonna be like, we should have knew this was coming.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Alex, how you feel about Fitzy?
All right, so just touch on what Todd said briefly. I really do believe that we are having a true quarterback competition. Ron has alluded to such that he's learned from his past mistakes, didn't really truly give everyone opportunity. But I know that we aren't ash burning ourselves and thinking that Fitz is going to come in and fit, but we should ask ourselves with the roster last year, if we had Fitz, are we a 7-win team, 8-win team, 8-win team, or 9-win team with him there, with the receivers that we had at the time? We all know this roster is vastly improved here in the present now. The one thing I will say is, as excited as I am for Fitz, I want to see how Taylor does pan out in the postseason, in the preseason as well. If these guys are just a semblance of even, you got to roll with the young cat. I don't know how you guys feel, but if Taylor's performance is anything near, you know what I'm saying, then we have to. But I am excited for Fitz because I know this may not be the most potent offense that we've had in a long time, but it's going to be probably the most aggressive. We know he's going to push it. We know Terry's going to get his looks. We know he's going to look Logan's way. We know guys are going to get their chances. And I think that's what's going to make it the most exciting and dynamic offense we've seen in Washington in quite some time.
Yep. I mean, I look at it this way. I look at worst case scenario, Ryan Fitzpatrick is who we thought he was, and he plays himself out of the position at some point this year. But best case scenario, he has a career year because, like y'all said, this is the perfect time and perfect team for him to be on. With a ascending elite defense, young talent, speed, size, everything around him offensively. The offensive line, although unproven, the offensive line could be good enough to give him time to pass the ball. He's in a position where he should be able to succeed. But if he doesn't, we got this kid behind him. Well, he's not a kid. He's almost 30, but he's a kid as far as snaps and experience. Heineke, he's been building momentum since that playoff game, and this offense is a second language for him. He's been with Scott Turner in Minnesota, Carolina, and here. He knows the offense like he knows his textbooks at ODU. So if Ryan Fitzpatrick pulls a hammy or BS's through camp at some point, which I don't expect, Heineke can take the job, but I think it's going to be Fitz's job, and I think his leash is going to be pretty long, actually, because I think Ron really wants to play the experienced guy and the guy that's going to win over the locker room. Yes, Heineke did win over most of the locker room, but Ryan Fitzpatrick just steps in the locker room and everyone gravitates to him. He just has that moxie, that personality, like Fitz magic. Like you feel it, like as soon as you start listening to the man speak. So at the end of the day, it's Fitzy's job to lose, and I don't expect him to lose it. But
how shook up would you be if probably like September 3rd, right? Preseason games are over, final cuts. And then kind of like Jay did in 2015 with Kirk and RG3, if Ron Rivera comes out and says Taylor Heineke is going to be our starter for the season.
I'm rolling with it. With it. What can we do, man?
I'll be pretty shook up. I'll be pretty shook up because you got to follow the money. Like we paid the man $10 million. Like we paid the man $10 million. And we on the other hand, we have heard Ron talk about a quarterback competition, but we also heard Ron talk about Fitzpatrick possibly being the starter past this season, or for potentially 2 years. So I mean, Ron's, you got to give or take with preseason commentary and minicamp commentary. But I would definitely be shocked if Taylor Heineke surpasses Ryan Fitzpatrick on the depth chart at any point this season, unless, of course, he has like a 3 or 4 interception game. I was pretty surprised.
Hey, man, he win that job in camp. We might have one. We might have us one, man. Because when you watch the tape, the dude can make plays, man. He got some baller in his blood.
It's nice too, because like you go from 2019. Or it was 2018. Alex Smith came in. He didn't know the offense well. The offense was not good. They were winning games, but Alex really couldn't execute Jay's offense. 2019, Dwayne came in. Dwayne was Dwayne. 2020, again, Dwayne was Dwayne, and then Alex again. But now it's like Fitzpatrick's going to start. But if Heineke has to play at some point, injury, benching, whatever, at least it's a guy who knows the offense like the back of his hand, like Kirk knew Jay's offense. That's just a good feeling, because it feels like we have a million different quarterbacks, and not only are they not great, but they don't know the system that well. They need an armband to read the plays. They can't speak the verbiage. So at least he knows the offense that well.
Dwayne was Dwayne. We got to put that on the t-shirt.
All right, but before we get into specific position groups, my man Jalen in the group chat said he wants to hear everybody's hottest hot takes surrounding the team going into the season. Who would like to start us off on the hot take?
I want to go last. Okay,
all right. I know it's gonna be crazy.
I feel like Alex should go first.
You want me to go first? All right, I'm definitely gonna be subtle, guys. I'm gonna roll what I told you guys earlier. I think Logan Thomas is definitely set for an extreme year. I know Ryan Fitz loves his tight ends, and I had
How extreme?
I'm going with double-digit touchdowns, man. I feel like that Pro Bowl snub last year with Evan Ingram getting over him, like, he's not tripping, but in the back of his mind, he's itching like, you guys really screwed me over. So I'm going to go ahead and give him 10 touchdowns, 1125 yards, man.
He said subtle. He said subtle.
Yeah, man. Look, I fit 11.25, man, and I got him on 78 catches, so 78 receptions.
Jesus.
Listen, man.
Yards per catch is crazy too.
It's averaging 14 yards a catch.
It's enough love for everyone. I'm just go ahead and quit all the red zone targets he's probably going to get, man. With that offense down on that line, it's going to be hard to account for everybody, man. Every man has to check everyone on that field. So, hey, man. Hey, remember that 11.25, 10 TD.
That's like an all-pro tight end.
So we're talking Logan Kelsey Kittle. That's what we're talking
about. There you go.
Logan Gesicki.
That is insane.
All right, I can go next. We were talking about Heineke. I'm gonna say slow start. Fitzpatrick, turnovers, benching. No. Heineke takes it over. Schedule gets a little bit softer. 5 last NFC East games. Taylor Heineke leads the team to the division title, to the playoffs over the second half of the season.
Does he solidify that spot going into next year?
It's going to be tough again, because it's like, again, we only saw half the season, but they probably bring in some competition or keep Ryan and keep it going. But I don't know.
You say second half of the season, put a number on it. Week what?
I'm gonna go ahead and say week 8. When's the bye?
That's right before the bye.
Week 9.
Bye.
Bye is week 9?
Yeah.
I'm gonna say week 8, and then he gets the bye, and then he continues after that.
That's almost perfect timing.
So he's gonna get 9. Hold up. So he's gonna get 9 games and lead us to the division title.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's his job if that's the case.
Right. 9 games. That's a sample size.
Yeah. All right, well, just to take this a step further, are we winning that playoff game?
I mean, with Taylor Heineke, why not, right?
Oh, man.
Let's see, who are they playing in the playoffs? They're probably playing like the Seahawks
Tampa again.
Or Tampa. Sure, why not?
Right, let's go.
Why not?
Why not?
I think, hey, it's the time for hot takes and optimism.
Right, exactly.
Mine, I don't know how hot of a take this is, because I feel like it's very possible, but I guess in a second year leap, it would be. I got 28 sacks total between Sweat and Chase Young.
Ooh.
But I got 17 sacks for Chase, 11 for Montez.
I like that.
Chase Young is going to be a Defensive Player of the Year candidate in his second year in the NFL. 28 sacks for the tandem. Let me know what y'all think.
Does he make an all-pro team, Rio?
Absolutely.
Ooh,
okay.
Hell yeah.
Okay.
And he's in the Defensive Player of the Year conversation.
I love it.
If they get 28 sacks and then you got Payne, Allen, Settle, and Ioannidis,
That's so attainable though.
we're probably getting 70 sacks as the team.
Yeah. Can I throw in 2 picks for Montez on the season though? I think going forward, man, Montez going forward is going to be, he's probably going to lead the league in passes batted at the line. I feel like that part of his game grew so much later in the season, especially against Pittsburgh, Dallas. I'm like,
I think they started coaching him up on it too. I think you could tell they started telling him, dude, stick your hands up.
Put your hands up, man.
Oh yeah.
It led to at least 3 interceptions.
Man,
Steelers, and the Seahawks.
I think that part of his game is going to definitely flash a lot.
You almost had one against the Giants too.
Yes, I'm going to give him 2. I'm just a calm 2. I think that's very attainable. And maybe one defensive touchdown. Maybe one defensive touchdown. Squeeze it in there.
All right, and last but not least, let's hear the hot take from the man who wanted the conversation himself. Let's go, Jalen.
All right. So I have 2. I'm gonna use my first one as my scorching hot take, and hopefully my second one is going to segue you into our next topic discussion, Rio. So hopefully that's what I'm aiming for here. So my first one, if you guys been following my Twitter and my social media, I've really been on this bandwagon for the last couple of days. So my first hot take is that Curtis Samuel, our new free agent signee, will have more rushing yards than JD McKissic. Okay. So we're going to be using Curtis Samuel all over the field. You know, JD McKissic going into camp is listed as our RB2. I don't necessarily think he's going to get a lot of touches, as many as he did last year. And I think, you know, with Curtis on the field, he can essentially be your backup running back. And he's way more explosive than JD, running a 4.31 40. I think that's like a top 15 combine time all time. So he's going to be on the field more. He's going to have more opportunities. So I think that Curtis Samuel outrushes, and he's our second leading rusher on the year. All right, so that was the first one. That's my scorching hot take. I don't know if you guys think that was too scorching.
I mean, your wide receiver 2 being your second leader in rushing yards is kind of hot. It is kind of hot. I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of hot.
I'm telling you. And then my second one is kind of subtle because you can't really put a quantitative number on it, and you can't like while watching it. But I think that Samuel Cosby is going to be our best rookie in his rookie year. Not saying he's going to be the best rookie coming out of the class or having the best career, but I think that this year he's going to be the most impactful rookie to contribute on the Washington football team roster.
Okay, and that's a perfect transition because that's exactly where we were going next. Best impact rookie in their first year with Washington, with like you said, not over the duration of their career. Who's going to make the biggest impact immediately from week 1, day 1 on the team? I'll start this one. It feels like it's easy, but Jamin Davis is going to be on the field every play. He's an every down linebacker, and he's just going to clean up and eat his lunch behind this defensive line. It's that simple. We haven't had someone this athletic that can actually cover a goddamn tight end here in forever. So for me, the impact rookie, I wanted to say De'Ami Brown because I love him. That's probably my favorite pick of the class, but I'm going Jamin Davis. Alex, where you going?
Man, didn't make it easy, man. I definitely was leaning towards Jamin myself. I'm going to go ahead and say De'Ami, man. I feel like De'Ami's going to strike a lot of people with those flash plays early on, too. Early on. They're going to be paying so much attention to everyone else. He's just going to find a way to, you know how D-Jax used to just, if he had 2 or 3 catches, it was usually for 100-something plus because he was just getting some just exponential plays over the field. I think De'Ami's definitely going to be that for us. He's going to probably be the forgotten man amongst that offense and just rip a few guys, man. So I'm going to roll with De'Ami.
I'm gonna take the easy route, and I'm gonna say Jamin Davis too. I think he's gonna get interception week 1. I just think Justin Herbert He's kind of he has a downfield mentality. He's got some good receivers. I think he's going to underestimate his height and his length and his athleticism, try to get something over the middle over top of him, and Jamin Davis is just going to go up and get it and take it from him. So, yeah, it feels like a cop-out. I mean, probably also Cameron Cheeseman, because, we know he's a day one starter.
Yeah, of course.
True.
Jeez.
Although we're probably going to be holding our breath on every punt and field goal and extra point for a little bit. I know if he misses one early, fans are going to light him up. But Jamin Davis, I think game one, you're going to see that impact.
Yeah.
He's a monster.
Yeah. Jalen,
who you got? Oh, well, I mean, you just said Cosme.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
I can elaborate on it if you guys want me to.
Yeah, go ahead.
The reason why I went with Samuel Cosme is we gotta just read the tea leaves, guys. Let's look at the timing of the Morgan Moses release. That happened. Well, the news came out the Monday after the rookie mini camp, where reports were coming out that Samuel Cosme was this physical specimen, hitting the bags, picking up sleds, and all this other stuff. So, I mean, we just reading the tea leaves. So I expect him to come in as the day one starter at right tackle. With, like I said, you heard reports that said he just hits the bag different. And I even mentioned when I was on Tae Todd's podcast prior to the draft, how I loved Samuel Cosme at Texas. Didn't really think that his play style matched up his athletic specimen type numbers that he put up. He was almost a 4.7 40, 38 bench press. But if they're coming out and reporting that at camp, there is a chance that he got better over the course of this off season. And if he's able to live up to those freakish combine numbers, we might have got a gem at right tackle.
I told y'all after we drafted him, that dude, I don't know where he's going to start, but he's starting at one of those tackle spots off rip. Mm-hmm. I was like, he's going to start off rip. And Cornelius Lucas didn't like all the movement on the offensive line, but at the end of the day, when you're a journeyman offensive lineman, you got to work for your paychecks, brother.
There you go.
You cannot shy away from competition. And
competition breeds excellence.
Ron got one look at this big boy from Texas and said, Morgan Moses, deuces.
For sure. Deuces.
Yeah. You are a soldier.
I think that Cornelius Lucas, that Twitter beef, I think that was more towards Charles Leno. You got
sure. Yeah, definitely was towards Charles. Yeah.
Now he about to come take his job in Washington. God, he can't get
away. I wonder how the O-line meetings are. I wonder how O-line dinners are.
My goodness. It has to be.
Oh my goodness. So Cornelius Lucas is now the new Ty Nsekhe. He's going to be the swing tackle for us. And the offensive line is, I wouldn't say one of the strongest groups on the team, but the strongest group on the team is clearly the defensive line.
Oh my gosh.
My question to you, well, actually, it's Pascal's question in the group chat. What's the best position group here other than the D-line? So just exclude those monsters up front on the D-line. What's the next best position group in DC? And Pascal, I'll start with you since it's your question.
Yeah, it's kind of tough. I've been thinking about it a lot more than I should, because you kind of look at it after the defensive line and there's no group that blows you away. You know what I mean? Because there's also a couple groups that they really upgraded this year. For me, the two choices are cornerback or wide receiver. Mm-hmm. I mean, cornerback, because obviously Kendall Fuller and William Jackson, and then you like that you have Jimmy Moreland, who played nickel, and then you have St. Juice coming in. So if you feel good about him, if St. Juice comes in and he proves to be a good pick, then I think it's that. But then on the wide receiver side, it's kind of the same thing, where since you added Curtis Samuel, if De'Ami Brown pans out, then I think it's that with Brown and Samuel and McLaurin. So I'll probably say, I don't know, it's tough. Those two are even to me. I between the two, I'd probably say wide receiver, just because Terry McLaurin's so good, and we know Curtis Samuel is good. So if De'Ami comes in and he becomes what Chris Sims was talking about, then I think that's probably right after D-line. I want to see what you guys say.
I know for me, I agree with you. I was gonna go wide receivers. One, because the next best player on the team after Chase Young is Terry McLaurin, and he's ascending, and he finally gets a quarterback that can regularly get him the ball. He got his college teammate who already knows the offense and has played in this offense in the receiver room with Curtis Samuel, We got a slot receiver who has familiarity with the quarterback in Adam Humphries. And Adam Humphries is no world beater, but he's no jag either. He's the type of guy that always finds the soft spot in the zone, always makes the tough catches on third down, and he's going to play a big part for us. And this rookie we got, Dyami Brown, he can end up being the star receiver opposite Terry on the outside. Curtis is more of the Swiss Army knife, but Dyami Brown, his route tree was limited at North Carolina just because he did what they needed him to do. He didn't do any more than what they needed him to do. And he's a smooth operator. He's a burner. He has great hands. He makes great contested catches. The wide receiver room is rounded out pretty good. And we finally got to see the ascension of Cam Sims last year when he was forced into the wide receiver 2 role. He won't have to be there. He'll be more like a package receiver here. And hopefully we can get something out of Antonio Gandy Golden. Speaking of which, Tay wasn't able to make it to the pod tonight. His blazing hot take was that Antonio Gandy Golden is going for like 70-something catches and 1,100 yards and like 8 touchdowns, something ridiculously crazy. I had to bring it up so we could rag on him for a second because that is nuts.
I'd love to see the money line on that.
Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness.
Rubik's Cube with ADG or something.
Could
talk
you
about it?
All right, Jalen.
On me?
Best position group other than the D-line.
All right, cool. I'm gonna group the DBs in together. So the secondary.
Okay.
The secondary. So I think that when you put the safeties and the corners in totality, because they all have to work as one, I think that's the second deepest position. We don't know about Landon Collins, but you have at least 2 starting safeties in Bobby McCain and Cam Curl, and then you have two other guys that started for you last season for a substantial amount of time in Jeremy Reeves and DeShazer Everett. So it's going to be a camp. It's going to be a position battle. Like that's where I think the most competition is going to be in camp as safety. And then if you guys have followed my podcast or been on the Tae Todd podcast, I have a big affinity for William Jackson. I think that he's a number 1 type corner.
Dog.
Like I said, he's literally like the only guy I've seen shut down Antonio Brown in his prime. Like the only one. I can't think of anybody else. So if he can go back and regain that form, granted it was 2017, along with Kendall Fuller, who can potentially go back to the slot where he was the best slot corner when he was with Washington the first time, pairing him up with St. Juice, who was apparently looking down and stepping over guys in minicamp. Like 6'3",
swag in that room.
Yeah,
that's Todd's twin right there.
Yeah, it's good. No, definitely.
That's big facts.
Then we'll go with the secondary as a whole.
Where we going, Alex?
You guys haven't made it easy for sure. I want to say when you guys touch on the wide receivers and DBs, I feel like these 2 groups are the most that have the most competition. Like going into the training camp, these 2 groups are definitely going to be like, we're going to be having a close eye on that all day. But I've been showing a lot of love to the offense, but I'm definitely going to roll with the DBs. Like my man Jalen saying, William Jackson, I feel like every time I'm going through him, I'm like, damn, William Jackson is here. You know what I'm saying? We get to pair him with Kendall Fuller. You know what I'm saying? And you're talking about BSJ. Man, I have a lot of love for these guys. I love the energy Chris Harris is bringing. I just feel that this group is going to surprise us. There's going to be a lot of guys. I feel Derek Forge is going to make a play. You know what I'm saying? We look forward to BSJ getting his first pick. There's a lot of guys that are going to be able to bounce off each other. Everyone's learning and growing together and they're ecstatic. But again, it's the accountability, man. I love the energy in that room, man. I got to go with my DBs, man. I feel like they're going to show out in a big way. We're going to get a lot of production out of those guys. Chris
Harris Jr. is the foundation for all that energy, man. That mic'd up session that he had,
talk about it, please.
That makes me want to get my washed ass out there and go guard an all-pro wide receiver, goodness. Man. This dude is great. You don't like nice things?
You don't like nice things?
You don't like nice things?
Right. The thing is, he was even in Randy Jordan's mic'd up.
Man.
Like, I told you he was going to get 3 today. He's everywhere. I love it.
It's nice to have coaches that are, because he's probably going to be gone after this year. He's going to get hired somewhere.
So glad he came back this year, though. Man.
It's nice to have coaches that are getting hired elsewhere. You're not just firing them.
man.
Oh, for sure.
Hey, man, but we all talked about the positive things at camp. There's always the negatives. And, our fan base, we have an affinity for Jags and players that never make an impact in the league. The Marcus Masons and Simi Cobbs of the world. Who is y'all surprise cut gonna be? And y'all already know my answer. You want me to just get it out?
Go ahead.
The fan base, please, I promise you, don't come in my house with pitchforks and picket signs. Kelvin Harmon's not gonna make the team. I just want to tell you this right now. Kelvin Harmon is not gonna make the team.
No,
it was a good story. Seemed like a good guy. Already lacked explosion, coming off a very serious injury. His stride still doesn't look right, and the receiver room is just a little bit too crowded. I wish him the best in his endeavors elsewhere because I don't see him cracking the final 53 here.
Yeah, no, he's not gonna make the final 53. He's gonna go to like the Bears or something, go like somewhere. I don't even think he's practice squad eligible. I think he played too much as a rookie, if I'm not mistaken. Right?
That's wicked,
which is tough. Bro. But surprise cut, man. Honestly, I'm telling you that Sean Davis cut last year still has me shook. Like it really has me thinking that short of Fitzpatrick, Curtis Samuel, and William Jackson, that anyone else they brought in could get cut. I'm gonna say Landon Collins. I don't think he gets cut. I don't think it happens. I think he's more likely to start on the PUP, and go to IR and not play all year. But I'm gonna say Landon Collins as a potential surprise cut.
Okay.
Yeah, that's mine.
Jalen, who's it gonna be?
Oh,
you voting off the island?
I wasn't expecting this one, so this one's really off the cuff. But I'm gonna give you a name. A surprise cut.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go with John Bostic.
Okay, that's a good one. That's a good one.
That's a really good one.
Oh my gosh.
That's a really good one.
I can see that.
Let's go with John Bostic. So we've heard out of camp that Khalid Hudson has improved. Granted, it was mini camp. We brought in Jamin Davis. Granted, I don't know if he was brought in to necessarily play middle linebacker, but the David Mayo signing is sneaky underrated, right? And Ron, like one of the trends from a Ron Rivera press conference last year was he was trashing linebacker play. That was
he
was.
Week out.
That was like Jay with the quarterbacks.
Yeah, like a linebacker's not fitting gaps. They nice striking. Zach Del Rio too, and one of the biggest culprits we all saw with our two eyes was John Bostic. Granted, he did improve late in the season.
Yeah.
But I don't think that Ron and Jack are holding him in too high regards. And he is in his last year of his deal. Doesn't have too much dead money on the cap. So I would consider John Bostic a surprise cut.
I don't know if y'all hear Chris Cooley's film breakdowns, but there was a number of plays Bostic where he would just highlight. He was just lost, like he play action or a fake like bubble screen, and he has gone the entirely wrong way.
I think one of the reasons that we're even more excited about this defense this year is the potential of how much better Jamin Davis could be than John Bostic. Honestly,
we gotta go over your head.
Just a tad bit better.
That's why it was perplexing to me that people were like not feeling the Jamin Davis pick, and people were like, "Who is this guy?" And I'm sitting here like it's Jack Del Rio and Ron Rivera. If any two people are going to pick out linebackers, and Marty Herney and Martin Mayhew, like all they do is hit on linebackers. I'm going to stop what I'm saying because my guy, Deontay Hallams, a.k.a. Tay, a.k.a. AGG, is going to be an all-pro receiver. Just entered the podcast. What's going on, Tay?
What's going on, fellas? The group chat pod. I'm here, man. I'm here.
What's happening, man?
Hey, man. Right now, what we were getting into was that we were talking surprise cuts on the roster. Okay. Who would be your surprise cut? And so far, I said Kelvin Harmon. Todd said Landon. Jalen said John Bostic. Let's hear yours, and then we'll go to Alex.
I'm gonna go Jimmy Moreland.
Oh,
I was next on my list, Tay. I like that. I like that.
Tay always comes with the fire.
Swinging for the fences, man. Like what?
That was next. Go ahead, Tay. Go ahead, Tay. Tell him why, Tay. I promise you that was next on my list.
Since I took yours, I'll let you tell him why, Jalen.
You want me to tell him why?
Tell him why.
I don't see a spot for Jimmy Moreland on this roster anymore, bro. St. Juice, he's apparently locking up Terry McLaurin and minicamp. We about to slide over Kendall Fuller to the slot. Jimmy's now playing outside. Everybody lied and told me he ran a 4.3 when I see him getting ran by Gronkowski in the playoff game. I just don't see it with Jimmy Moreland. I think he's a fringe NFL player. I think he's a fringe NFL player. You know, he was good at a small school. And Tay, I'm gonna let you finish out because I know it's a reason why you told him. You told him why. Tell him why, Tay.
Yeah, I just think he's a liability. I mean, obviously he's making the open field tackles the first year. Last year, it seemed like to me he regressed, and I just think that they're looking for more bigger corners. It seems like, and so that's why I think they're going to replace him.
Who's your fourth corner if they cut Jimmy? Because we're down to David Johnson and Greg Stroman then, right?
No, my guy from Detroit.
Daryl Roberts.
Oh yeah,
Daryl is there.
Yeah,
and Bobby McCain can play nickel for sure.
Yes, he can. Yes,
so
he can.
I think they're going to use that to free up because I think they're going to keep a couple safeties, and I think they're going to be able to. They're going to have to cut one of them corners.
Hey, Alex, who we cutting, man?
Man, Jalen definitely came in with the pick six with John Bostic because that was definitely where I was leaning. But if I'm going with the surprise, man, I'm gonna go ahead and say Adam Humphries, man. I feel like that. That was just like if there's any spot, where they're gonna just go ahead and dive in and go with the youth, as reliable as he is, that would just speak so much of the younger guys if he is cut. When Sean was let go, I'm like, okay, what's the plan? Because we thought he was going to be a starter, We tried it out afterwards. Lord knows we all know how that, shaped out. But I just feel that, just the back end, that means we're giving Steven Sims a chance again, Steven Sims Jr., maybe even Dax Mill. I haven't heard too much. We'll see how it pans out. But I think that Adam might just be on the cusp. I know he's Ryan's guy, but it says a lot. They're not afraid to cut somebody.
I definitely think Adam Humphries. I think he is a fair choice. Look at what they're paying, and they're paying him like $1 million.
Right.
So I think he makes it, but I think he is fighting for a spot, though. I do think he's fighting for a spot. I think it's easier for him to earn it, but he still has to earn it.
Oh yeah. And Tay, before we move on to the next topic, why don't you go ahead and give us your season blazing hot take? I didn't do it justice in the brief synopsis I gave it. Let's hear yours, man, because you always bring it when it comes to it.
I think it was Alex in the group chat the other day talking about what Logan Thomas said about AGG and how he's impressing in camp. And I said AGG going to take over that outside corner slot, and I think he's going to get 1,000 yards this year. I think it's possible, man. And Todd, I know you want that too. I know.
I would love that. I would love that. I would be one of my best friend is played with him, and then another friend of mine saw him in the mall and was. So I mean, if that happens, then next thing you know, we're best friends.
Right.
I would love that.
Tell you what, if AGG really did go off like that, our offense is going to be on another level. Imagine
because think about it. We still need that big body receiver.
Yep.
Sure.
Very true. Very true.
That's who they want him. That's what they want him to be. That's why they drafted him.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Cam Sims, but
all right. Let's hear what were y'all record predictions when the schedule went out, and did they change since then? Because mine's has changed the game.
Ooh.
I want to hear Jalen's first.
I want to hear mine first. All right,
I remember yours.
Yeah, so I got us going 12-5, right? Listen. I've been scorned as a Washington football fan too. But if you look at the completeness of this roster, 1 through 53, I think that we have a top 10, roster in the NFL. And I think that, like I said at the beginning of the pod, if Fitzmagic is capable of having that magical season, a la Rich Gannon, who led the Oakland Raiders to the Super Bowl, I think that we're due for some big things. I think that we have some monsters on the defensive side of the ball. Granted, we do face a plethora of elite quarterbacks and a plethora of talent running backs. But I think we got three behemoths on the defensive side between Chase Young, Montez Sweat, and Jamin Davis. I think that just cancels out everything. Like, I think that those three are going to be pivotal to the success of this season. I think we're going to go 12-5.
So you're still rolling with 12-5. You're
rolling with 12-5.
Doubling down.
And you know that they haven't won more than 10 games in like 30 years.
They haven't won more than 10 games since I was born.
Yeah, man.
This is the year they're breaking it.
Me too.
Yeah. Gotta happen someday.
Hell yeah. Tay, what was your record prediction when the schedule came out, and has it changed since?
I think what was it, Todd? 11-6, maybe?
I think so.
11-6. It's man, this team, honestly, the talent we have, like Jalen said, is just remarkable. And it's kind of hard to kind of go lower than 10. And it's kind of hard to say 7-9 because it's like we're better than what we were last year. And the defense hands down is going to be a dog. I mean, you got Jamin Davis, who I'm just like thrilled with. I watched the draft over like the first pick announcement. Like, I watch it like once a week just to get excited for him because he's like a freak, dude. And the offense is just it's very good. And I'm gonna move to 12-13.
13 wins.
This is why I'm afraid.
He's always bringing it up.
Afraid. Now you gotta pick one. Call your shot. 12 or 13.
Don't do it.
I know. I say 12. I'll match Jalen.
Oh man,
I love it.
Y'all remember the day? I don't remember what happened, but where Tae was having a bad day.
Oh my
and
God!
He was like, "We suck. We're gonna be terrible forever.
We're never gonna be good. Yeah. We're never gonna be."
I think it was free agency. I think we hadn't signed anybody yet.
It was like the second. It was the night we signed Fitzpatrick. It was like right before that.
He's like, "Man, we suck, man. We're never gonna be."
No, it was after Allen Robinson and them got
tagged.
Oh yeah,
that's what it was. That's what it was.
He was like, "We're never gonna get good players here.
We suck. We're always gonna suck." Like, dang,
he was in the funk, man. Oh my God.
It was reverse psychology.
I know me.
I mean, it worked.
When the schedule dropped, I had us at 9-8 because it felt like a fair medium for the team. I feel like our floor is 7 or 8 wins, but now that I look at it, like, we're a good football team. It's weird to say it. I'm so afraid of everything this season because things have never went this professional, and it is a well-oiled machine the way we're running this franchise on and off the field, handling the rebrand, the way fans are being included. It all feels so right. So I'm going to up it from 9-8 to 11-6. I was going to do one game. I went up 2. I'm going 11-6. The first time in my goddamn life that we've won 11 games. Book it. 11 wins.
I like it.
Go ahead, Alex.
All right, so I believe I was right where we were earlier saying 10-7, and it just what I was saying earlier, man, that confidence that like I'm looking at, I'm like, man, normally we'd always be like, yeah, maybe 7, maybe 8 wins, man. We're not too sure, but look at where we're at now, guys. We're talking about 10 wins, and we're saying that with our whole chest, you know what I'm saying? It's not even like, oh, we're being delusional, saying it like, nah, bro, like these boys have a legit shot at doing that. I think 11 is the ceiling, and like you said, Rio, 7 might just be the floor, but they're so beyond that, man. They're so beyond that, man. But 10-7, I'm gonna stick with that. With a division, with a division crown and a playoff dub. And a playoff dub.
Man, so until they break the 30-year-long streak of not winning more than 10 games, I can't pick them to win more than 10 games. Until they do it, I can't pick them to do it. It's too much. I'm the 9-8 one. I went up a game though. Give me that. Give me that. I'm going 9-8. Okay. I think because of some injuries. I think just some stuff not going your way.
That's fair.
Whatever it may be, I'm gonna go 9-8. I hope I'm wrong. I hope y'all are right. But I can't go higher than 9-8. it hurts, but I can't do it.
I feel you. That's a respectable take. That's honestly probably the most logical and sane take out of all of us because
we gotta have a good balance.
We are all just chugging the Kool-Aid right now.
Right.
Supposed to, man. It's that time.
It is that time. But there is a reason though. I'm saying if I'm going back through watching games, I'm tweeting it. I got a thread I'm gonna do all the way through to the wild card game. When you go back and watch these games, and it was like in the first 4 or 5 games, it wasn't even like a real team was out there playing. It was so many guys who shouldn't have been on the field, starting with Dwayne Haskins. Then you look at the 2 Giants games that they could have won, the Seahawks game and the Panthers game they could have won if not for Dwayne Haskins. And then you look at
the Browns game.
The Browns game.
Oh
you look at the Lions game. I mean, so they had 5 losses at least. That 1 or 2 things went the other way, or slightly better quarterback play. Instead of 7-9, they're 11-5, 12. So. But also every year is his own thing too. So, but it definitely is. If they won 7 games last year, then you would think they could definitely top that this year. I hope so.
There's clear optimism coming from the group chat, but it's not just the group chat. This national notoriety, Louis Riddick, Rich Eisen, Mike Greenberg. Washington is the powerhouse of the NFC East. Washington is a quarterback away from being a Super Bowl contender. With all this attention that we're getting, is this the right moment for us to finally get on Hard Knocks or All or Nothing?
Absolutely.
Can I say why I wouldn't want us to do it? The reason I wouldn't want us to do it is because if they're following a lot of the same COVID protocols, the one with the Los Angeles Rams last year seemed really watered down to me. Yeah. It's crazy that you asked this question, Rio, because I legit had to stop and think who's the team on Hard Knocks last year? It was that forgettable of a season. And
it was the Rams and the Chargers.
And a show that I hold in such high regard, I wouldn't want to see that done to my favorite team.
I think the protocols will be a lot looser for the camera crew and shit this year.
Yeah, facts.
I think they would. I also think since they went to the playoffs, they would have to volunteer, right?
Yeah, they would.
Yes, they would.
That's a dream.
I'd say not this year, next year. With the rebrand coming around, I feel like that's the perfect time. You know what I'm saying? Like it's gonna be the new, freshest thing. Everyone's gonna want to know what's it looking like in it. Let's see what this Washington team looks like going forward. And what a perfect time to start introducing the young guy, the fresh new faces. It's the perfect segue. It almost makes too much sense.
Quarterback.
You know what I'm saying? And it's very marketable. I think next year would be the prime. It's been a long time coming, but if there's any team, guys, we should book it right now. It's us next year for sure. I can hold off on this year. It has to be us next year.
If it's not us, if we're not on this year, it has to be. And I'm torn because I love Hard Knocks, but after watching Amazon Prime's All or Nothing, I think that might be the show I would prefer because instead of training camp, they follow you through the season.
Right.
And watching Ron and the Panthers on there, that would be some goddamn content, man.
That would really, I would love that because they're gonna focus on bubble guys on the Hard Knocks who probably won't make the team, like 1 or 2 of them, but All or Nothing is everybody on the team. Yeah, that would be really cool. Yeah, for sure.
I got a question in regards to that with the rebrand next year and everything like that. What do you think if we get a franchise quarterback via draft or like a Watson, as far as popularity, do you think in Washington, once we get that franchise quarterback, that arguably he'll be the most marketable in the league?
I mean, he'll be up there because what Ron is doing is making us one of the most respectable. He's making us so respectable right now. We've been a clown show circus headline seizing dumpster fire since Dan Snyder bought the team, and now the whole world is starting to believe in us. Imagine we come into next year, the Washington Blanks, because my NDA does not allow me to have an opinion on I'm kind of like an insider. Ambassador Rio. I got that guy. He's that guy. So for the Washington Blanks, we come out with these smoking new uniforms and a franchise quarterback. The publicity is going to be nuts. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be euphoric in DC, especially if we're coming off back-to-back division titles because no one has done it in the division since like 2004. So
Philly.
Yeah, I kind of think so, Tay, because the fact that this organization, that a major sports organization, is changing their entire branding is insane. It's like almost never happened. So then if they got a quarterback like Deshaun Watson or Aaron Rodgers or Russell Wilson or a rookie, and he's the first quarterback and he's wearing that, we don't know what it'll be, but I think it'll be an animal that howls, and he's the first one wearing it and he's the first one doing it. I don't see why not.
Like in all of sports?
In all of sports, I think he'll have to start playing.
I mean, like once he gets to that
level. Once he plays and gets to that level? Oh, for sure.
I think so too. I think the market in DC is just like, it's been crying.
You saw what happened with RG3.
Yeah.
What happened with RG3?
You saw the energy with that. Yeah.
RG3 was the NFL for a season.
I thought he was gonna be our LeBron James, bro.
Like, he was supposed to be.
Like, no one couldn't tell me that he wasn't gonna be the best player in the league.
I mean, even when they were losing.
Oh my gosh.
He led the league in jersey sales. Like, not
as a rookie.
So we've seen it, Tay. Like,
you're right.
At one point, it just wasn't sustainable. So that's why, to answer your question, we just got to see who it is. Because, not to say RG3 was an imposter, but I mean, we bought into that hype, and then 14 months later, it was kind of like, and he was on national TV commercials, and he was everywhere.
And everywhere.
So you see that the market is yearning for that superstar. Like, I would have to say yes, depending on who it is and how successful we are. I would absolutely.
You all remember Adam Schefter tweeting in that offseason after 2012 that the schedule makers were trying to get an understanding of where RG3 was with his recovery so they could schedule primetime games.
Yeah,
that was crazy.
Yeah.
It's insane. Yeah. I've never heard that ever about a player ever.
That's ridiculous as hell, man. Dude, I'm going to touch on what Rio said earlier, man. As far as us being media darlings, man, I really feel that if we were to land someone like a Deshaun Watson, you already hear the respect, like, oh, they're a quarterback away. Oh, we know for a fact, once they get a guy like that or Aaron Rodgers, which I don't think is, I really think it's going to be Watson, man. If it does come to pass,
if it's Watson, I'm buying you a jersey,
man.
Because you've been on it.
If it's Watson, I'm buying him the authentic, the untouchable elite vapor jersey. I'm getting you the cuff sleeve,
with the stick in the back,
man.
Yeah, bro.
Seriously though, man, like, you hear these guys talk about our team, and like Rio said, we're not used to hearing them speak on us in such a way, man. But to land a Watson, no one's going to tell us we're crazy, not to say that we're Super Bowl contenders instantaneously, man. Like, out the gate, it's just like, all right, who's next? But yeah, man, that would be insane, man.
Can we follow this rabbit hole just for 1 second?
Oh, yeah.
For 1 second, because this past offseason trading for Deshaun Watson for us was impossible. Like, for sure, we just didn't have the firepower. But this is a new offseason coming up. He has a no-trade clause. He gets to pick where he wants to go. A number of teams that would have been in on him drafted a quarterback this past year. So, I mean, that's where you kind of say, what if they do go 10-7, 11-6? You see the culture, you see the defense, you see the potential. If I'm Deshaun Watson, I say, hey, I want to go to Washington, because maybe the Eagles have a terrible year. They got 3 first-round picks, but they're a bad team.
Yep.
Or I don't know, the Giants or whatever other team. I mean, like, do you think that Ron and Marty and them would do that? And what is it going to cost?
Let me go first on that one. See, it starts with, he needs to be unequivocally innocent. He needs to check every box that says this was all fallacy, this was all concocted, and he had no foul play or anything. Because the last thing, we have a pending sexual harassment case awaiting us for the whole world to see.
Yeah.
We cannot bring in 22 pending case man. We cannot bring that in unless he is completely got that blown out of the water and this Tony Busby guy goes away somewhere. But if it did go away and he completely cleared it and his character is back intact, I think you absolutely go for it, because I think guys like Chase Young and Terry McLaurin, they could sell him to come here, and who wouldn't want to play in what we're building here? Like, and you're playing for not an expansion team, but the attention that's going to come with us having a new name, on top of the fact that the roster is built for you to win immediately What's not attractive about this destination, Fred? A team that's looking for a franchise that's looking for all-time redemption while he's on the trail for redemption for his character. It's a Disney story written, man.
Say it again.
They should ask Deshaun Watson what he would want the name to be and then make that the name. So I need to see if he likes wolves. Well, I need to find out what his favorite animal is.
Dude. Massage parlors.
Oh my God.
Jalen, you look like you got some thoughts.
Yeah. So first, I don't no matter how innocent, I love Deshaun Watson. No matter how innocent he is, though, I don't think we can touch it. Like, I don't.
That's fair.
I don't think. I would love to have Deshaun Watson. Before all these 22 cases, I was all for trading him. I was ready to give away everybody on the team, not named Chase Young and Terry McLaurin. But now we still don't know what's going to come into this report. And I know we're talking about hypothetically what if it comes out clean, if he comes out innocent. But what if with Tanya Snyder, recently being, promoted up in the organization, what if they really find some dirt on Dan and he suffers, suspension where he's out of the picture for a minute, but then he comes in and brings in a Deshaun Watson. Just what does that look like in the public light? And while we might not like it, how does that affect business? How does that? And that's what Dan is really about. At the end of the day, and he is carrying this burden of funding the entire franchise at this point. So he really has to care about his fiscal responsibilities at this point. So while I would love to have Deshaun Watson there, and I think he would instantly make us Super Bowl contenders, I don't think we can touch that, no matter how innocent he is.
I'm with you. All right, guys. Well, in my mind, just allow me to play devil's advocate. With the team and the culture that we have built here, I feel that if there is any coach, any one person that could take on, I don't even want to say the challenge or the task of Deshaun Watson, it's Ron Rivera, because he's shown through the entirety of his coaching tenure, be it in Carolina, here, wherever, he is an accountable person. He's going to stand out in front of his guys, and he's going to take the bullets, for whomever. And when we're talking about our team, as far as them progressing into things that are just football, we're not hearing that constant circus throughout the off season. It's purely football. We're only hearing about players' progression, what they're doing on the field. I feel like if it's just strictly about football, it's a no-brainer. No one's going to bat an eye the minute that we're sitting up there contending for NFC Conference Championship. Like, okay, it's a great story. What a great redemption story. At the end of the day, it's Deshaun Watson, man. If he does come to this team, we know what it's going to mean for us down the line. And if we're purely basing it off that, for sure. But I understand what you guys are saying with the PR hit. I just feel Ron is the guy. He's the one person who can truly take on this task of Deshaun Watson and save face, regardless of what's going on. No one's going to bat an eye, for sure. That's how I feel personally.
Sold. You sold me.
Seriously, man. If there's one guy, he can do it.
Oh, I'm sold, man. But I got one more for y'all. Then we're gonna get out of here because we can do this shit all night. This is what we do, man. This is what we do. We just five black men that love our Washington football team. Our group chat never stops getting notifications, man. This is what we do. But my last one before y'all go. 2022, week 1, the Washington Blanks with minority owner Sean Jay-Z Carter. Who is the starting quarterback for that football team?
Prediction or what?
Prediction. Yeah, that's gonna take some thoughts.
Prediction, man. Ooh,
I'll go first if nobody got one off the tip of their tongue.
Yeah, go ahead.
Spencer Rattler,
Oklahoma.
In a trade up. We're gonna trade into the top 10.
That means he's the third or fourth quarterback taken, probably.
I think we're gonna trade out. I think Howell's gonna go before him, and Slovis is gonna go before him.
I can see that.
Spencer Rattler becomes the quarterback here in Washington. He's a bit of a douche, but so is Aaron Rodgers, and so is a lot of great players. I do not care if he could play football. Last year, coming off a COVID year, like Matt Miller was saying on my pod, coming off that COVID off season. He started off slow early, but he really started to catch wind later in the season. I think he's going to have a Heisman-like year this year, and he's going to show us everything. Lincoln Riley spits out quarterback. He made Jalen Hurts a second-round quarterback when he looked like a running back in Alabama. So Spencer Rattler, with his natural ability, is going to put on a Baker Mayfield-type performance this year, and he's going to be in burgundy and gold to debut our new name, and we're moving forward with our franchise quarterback next year. Who wants next?
Okay, I'll go next. I gotta go with my guy because I don't know about the veterans. My guy, Matt Corral from Ole Miss. He's my guy. He's my sleeper. He's not getting a lot of talk. He's getting a little bit of talk, not a lot of talk. But when you watch the guy play, now look, he had a couple like just interception. It rained out interception games. He had 2 of them. But every other game, my goodness, he went toe to toe with Alabama. He like some of his throws he made against. I think it was either Mississippi State. I think it was Mississippi State. My God, he's got that Mahomes, Zach Wilson that everybody's looking for. He's a great leader. Also, he is. I don't know exactly what he is, but he's not white. So he continues to check that. I think he's Spanish descent somewhere. So he continues to check that diversity box that they're trying to build in this organization. Where suddenly the face of your franchise.
I thought he was white.
No, he might be half or something, but I think he's got some Spanish. He's tatted up and everything. He's my guy. I'm telling you, I watch Matt Corral, Ole Miss. That boy, SEC, he's lighting it up. And I think he'll be at best the 3rd quarterback taken.
Jalen?
Oh, me? I'm gonna go ahead and say Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Okay, safe.
That's a safe pick.
If he goes off for the year that I'm projecting him have, about 30 touchdowns, 4,000 yards. I wouldn't see a reason why we shouldn't bring him back. We still have to pay everybody on this defensive line. And maybe that can prolong that process for 1 more year.
Terry too.
And Terry's coming up. Ryan Fitzpatrick rides off into the sunset as Washington wins, the 2023 ever Super Bowl
like that.
Oh, he's just gonna mark ripping us to the Super Bowl.
John Elway style, right off in the sunset as a Super Bowl champion with the football team.
It would be a great way to end his career.
Alex, go ahead and tell us Deshaun Watson gonna be our quarterback.
Yeah,
Okay, all right. So if I was gonna go with the draft prospect, though, I do love me a little bit of Sam Howell. I think he's gonna be definitely nice. But before I even get into the quarterback, I want to ask, obviously his salary cap is probably gonna go up again next year.
Yeah, for sure. So
I feel like that might give us a little bit of flexibility, but I know Ron has always talked about that calculated but aggressive approach. I feel like them this year in this draft, we watched them fill out this roster. Whatever holes that we did have, they went about filling it, and they did it in a way where it's like, okay, there's just not too many holes here. I can't identify one single weakness or spot on this team. And with that being said, I feel like that opens the door for us to be a little bit more aggressive as far as going for somebody. We've tried with Amari Cooper. We were willing to give him that $100 million at that point in time when he was available. They've shown that they're really.
Who we going to get, man? Who we going to get?
Deshaun Watson, man. I gotta stick with my guns here, man. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, y'all know what that means. If we're talking purely football, if he gets in a Washington uniform, that new Nike fresh, whatever the hell they're conjuring up, man, I'm telling you right now, man, it's going to be business. And who's ready for Hard Knocks with Deshaun Watson, Chase Young, man, chopping it up on the field, man.
You don't want to know how ignorant of a fan I'm going to be.
Come on, man. I'm feeling it right now, man. Like, what? Come on, man.
Yeah, I'd be screaming like a little girl.
I already know Tay is going to have the most obscure answer. So I'm bracing myself for this one. Who quarterback in week 1 for the Washington Wolves?
Russell Wilson.
Hypothetically. Oh my God.
Give me a virtual pound, say.
That was not crazy. That was not crazy.
It's not crazy.
I think he's going to see. I think they're going to have a down year this year, Seattle, and I think he's going to see what this Washington team is building, and him being from Virginia already. I think it's going to be a match made in heaven.
Come on down, CC.
Wow.
Come on down. Oh my God. I think I would actually cry tears if we let
Russell Wilson doesn't get hurt.
Nah.
Who's more of a politician than Russell Wilson in the NFL?
Dog, yeah.
That's who you want in DC.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like you said, he's from Virginia.
That's the leader of the pack, man.
I like that. I like that right there, though, Tay. I like
pun intended.
Yeah, I can see him battling in the White House.
4 to 5 year Super Bowl window.
Oh, yeah, our Super Bowl window would be going crazy. Oh my God! Just the thought of it, I can't even fathom it. But that's going to wrap up for the day. You know, I cannot wait to get with y'all during camp in a few weeks, man. Like I said, some combination of us is going to be there every day in Richmond. Y'all go ahead and plug your stuff. Say whatever you want to say. Get it out the way. I'll start with you, Todd.
Tae Todd Podcast. Check out on YouTube. That's where we're going to start doing most of our stuff. I didn't even put our last podcast on Anchor, which is terrible. So I should have done that. But check us out on YouTube. And during the season, all the film breakdowns, at least 2 episodes a week. So yeah, follow us on Twitter and on YouTube. Subscribe.
Jalen, go ahead and plug your stuff.
Bleeding BnG, Bleeding Burgundy and Gold. We have social media. We're on Instagram and Twitter. Our Instagram is at Bleeding, BLEEDING, BNG. Our Twitter handles is a tad bit different. That one is at BLEEDIN, BNG. We're also on YouTube as well. You can search Bleeding BnG, Bleeding Burgundy and Gold, or you can search my name, Jalen Morgan. Make sure you're tapped in. We're giving you guys a lot of content, and we'll be pushing out episodes weekly. Like Tay said, like Todd said, about 2 episodes a week when the season starts, reviewing and previewing upcoming games.
Yep. And also, if you got a beard, go ahead and check Jalen out for the Stunner's beard sauce. I heard Antonio Gibson was looking for some beard oil. Hit up my boy. I got it. I got the peppermint scent, and it works wonders, man. I love it.
I appreciate that.
A second.
Alex, go ahead, man.
Y'all can go ahead and follow me on Twitter, HUG0_POL0. And I'm going to be getting my stream going soon, so you can follow me at twitch.tv/KingKofi21, KINGKOFI21, man.
Sir, and Tay, knock it out.
Yes, man. Sir. Same as Tay and Todd. Hopefully we get to see all this this training camp. And I'm ready to roll. I'm ready to interact. I'm ready to meet some of the fans and the other podcasters and just get this season rolling. So continue to follow us, support us. We appreciate it.
Hell yeah. And that's just going to wrap up another group chat pod. It was another successful one. And that's going to wrap today's episode of the Rambling About Washington podcast. You can follow my personal page at Rio_Robinson91, or my podcast page at Raw Podcast W Rio. And please subscribe to the YouTube channel. I'm 2 videos in right now. Rio, Rambling About Washington podcast with Rio. Give me a follow and follow all my guys you see here on this video. Hail to the nameless football team. Deuces.
Peace.